Well, guys, first and foremost, what a great win for those seniors for their last game in the swamp, and see their families and look in their eye, and more than that, really the way they were in that locker room. We talked about going into it that it was something for the seniors, but it was a responsibility of the young guys to step up and make sure it was a special day. Obviously, with 9 starters out due to injury, there were a lot of young guys that stepped up and played their tails off, and I just can't tell you how proud I am of those guys. And you know what? These seniors are going to remember that for a long, long time. And you know, Will came in prepared. They played the game the way they needed to give themselves an opportunity to win. You know, you can tell how hard he has gotten that team to play. My hat's off to those guys in what they're doing. They're doing a fantastic job, and you know, doing it with a young quarterback as well. So you know, they've got a bright row ahead of them. You know, there were some good things. Obviously, guys, let's get the turnovers out of the way. I mean, if we don't throw the ball on the ground like we did, you know, it's the second time now down in the red area that just, you know, Austin, you know, on the snap, the same thing happened in Vanderbilt there. But with that, you know, down to our third center, and TJ, I thought, man, he played his tail off. Sharp went out. Obviously, Tez did a great job at left tackle. I was really proud of that. But more than that, Kavaris Harkless and what he did coming in. And, you know, he's been a guy that's spelled at every spot on the offensive line, and I just was really excited to see him get an opportunity. But more than that, take advantage of the opportunity with the way he played. The 2 young linebackers, well, you know what? They're pretty good players also. And, you know, Anzalone and Jared, talking to them the whole game, you know, when they came off, what they were seeing, calling out things on the sideline. Just kind of shows you how close and how far this team has come to actually get to know each other. And, you know, it's great to see. Look, we've got a long ways to go. We get to come tomorrow and put this to bed, get an opportunity to go play a game in next week, and we'll see who we load the bus with, and we'll go put a plan together and play. And I know our guys will play their tails off. I really like these guys. I like our team. I like the way they care about each other. You know, Cox going down. I mean, we had a bunch of seniors go down. I mean, Marcus will be done, obviously. You know, I just feel horrible, but he's done so much. I mean, his draft stock looking down the road has risen drastically because of how he's played. So this won't have any bearing on it. You know, he's got a broken something in his arm. So, you know, you put a cast on it and get back after it, right? So he'll be fine long term, and he's a guy that'll be there every step of the way, just like Alex was this week, as far as training, you know, those other safeties, you know, to go get a win this week. So, questions?
Robert, Coach, overall, how did Appleby play? It seemed like he gave a good game plan that he could manage.
Yeah, he did a nice job. You know, hit one of their guys in the head for a pick there right before half. Last time I checked, it wasn't the same colored helmet we were wearing. So, probably would have liked that one over. Don't like the snap on the ground, but you know what? He did a good job. We got a couple quarterback reads in there for him, and I think that slowed them down a little bit in what they were trying to do. So I think that was a good job by the offense, but we still suffered some drops. You know, I mean, shoot, that third down in there that we drop, and then another third down, you know, right before half. You know, we got to get that corrected.
Yeah, Scarlett, over 100 yards again.
No, it's good. It's good. That means the offensive line did their job. That's a good thing.
Gene?
Matt, could you just talk a little bit about, did you feel like this offense today, if you can put aside the turnovers, that it was functional?
Oh, yeah.
And secondly, as a follow-up to that, could you talk about Ahmad Fullwood?
Yeah, man, again, one of those seniors. But, you know, let's talk about, you know, I mean, look, understanding ball security is number one. To be able to win a game with 3 turnovers, you're not going to win many doing that. And they're a team that thrived on taking the ball away, and they did. And yet, I think it was kind of our own doing. But, you're down there. Those are all point situations, obviously, and the game's probably out of hand, a little earlier. And yet, the guys at the concession stands, we missed a game. So we figured if we could keep more people in down to the end, we could sell some more hot dogs. And I think they're going to be pretty happy. But, Ahmad, here's why I was so excited. He went up and he got a rebound, man. We threw that, the numbers fade to him in the stab route. And he climbed the ladder and went up and ripped it off the board. He caught the ball aggressively on the corner route. And he's been a guy that twice, just through how he's playing, has actually been our offensive player of the week, because he's doing a lot of the little things that don't show up in the box score. Today, some things showed up in the box score, and that's great to see.
Wasn't that your main gripe about him though earlier, that he wasn't going after it?
No, and that's, we talked about it. I don't care. I don't think it was a gripe. It was, I love him, man. He plays the game the way it's supposed to be played. But we always talk about be aggressive at the point of attack and go up and get the ball, and he did that today.
Mike, over here to the left.
Hey, Mike.
How you doing?
Good, buddy. Did you buy any extra hot dogs?
They had plenty in the press box.
Oh, what the heck?
We said he had one.
Okay.
He had eggs this morning.
Yeah, okay. You had eggs? Early game? Salsa? Anything with it or just eggs?
Sauce on the egg.
Just hot sauce? All right. I like that.
Coach, after last week, there was a lot of criticism, a lot of noise in the system, if you will. How big is this game into getting your confidence back and getting rid of the quote noise in the system?
Well, here's the one thing I do know. You come to the University of Florida, there's noise in the system no matter what. And that's the beauty of a place like this. You got a bunch of people who care and a bunch that, know football. And and so, I think that they don't, but, the noise piece, you can see it didn't bother our guys. I mean, you got guys dropping left and right and new guys go in there. I think we sold some extra programs because they didn't know who the jersey numbers were in there. And, our new athletic director will be excited about that. That'll help the budget. But, I just know these guys are working their tail off. And I thought we played better up front. I'll see that when we see the film. Threw a couple no-hitters there where we, guys got in the backfield and we didn't reestablish the line of scrimmage. But for the most part, I thought they took some pride in what they were doing. I've been doing this a long time, and I just know that what we're doing with this football team is the right thing.
As an offensive guy, though, does it bother you when people criticize your offense?
I got criticized my whole life. I mean, shoot, you grow up in Montana, if you don't have thick skin, it don't matter. You're in trouble. So, hey, am I happy with it? I've answered that before. Absolutely not. But do I also know the parts and what's there and the direction we're headed? I'm excited about it. And I thought we had a little bit of look into that today, and that's a good thing.
Thomas and then Edgar. If you pass it to Edgar, Thomas, have to put it on.
This probably builds a little bit on what you were just answering.
Sorry.
But given the things that went wrong early with the injuries and some of the turnovers, is what we saw today in terms of you guys really being in control throughout the game kind of speak to the mentality of where this team is developing?
Well, as I even said, there wasn't a panic. There were times a year ago now, if something went wrong, I mean, you'd have thought the sky was falling. And I never saw that. Guys understand what they're doing. They understand when they don't do it well, all the time. It's fixable, and that's a good thing. Thought Austin did a really good job of steadying them throughout. We've got to help him out with some of those catches, man. So, but it was good. I mean, it was that's pretty darn good defenses playing at a high level, and they took the ball away, which they'd been doing. And we can't do that playing a home game on the road next week.
Jim, after the game, you talked to Will a little bit. Can you share what you said to him?
Yeah, I just said, number one, there were some great defensive players here, and guys that, he just did an outstanding job. And the biggest thing I said was he is doing a great job with that football team. That team is playing inspired. They play excited. You can feel the energy, and he's doing it the right way. And I told him I know a lot of his coaches. He's got a good staff, and the guy's a good coach, man. And
So you basically thanked him for the players that he left for you.
I mean, those guys on defense.
Yeah.
A lot of them were hurt, but he was able to go see him in the hospital, I think. But at the same time, man, you know what? That's a neat deal, and I'm just proud, the way he's a great guy. He's helped me out at this deal. I mean, let's not get that wrong. I mean, he was very forthright. When I took over, he helped me. He talked about some of the deficiencies. He knows where they were, and I respect that, and that's the kind of guy he is.
Question in the back to the left, Coach.
Can you just comment on Marcel Harris making two big plays, sniffing out the reverse, and then jumping that route for the interception?
Yeah, no, Sel's a really good player, and both he and Nick, obviously, we had a rotation in there until Marcus went down early in the game, and the way they communicated with each other, the reverse was something that was tipped off, but it before wouldn't have been noticed because guys wouldn't have talked to each other. They talked to each other and they sniffed it out. Great play on the ball and midpoint, high point in the ball, on the late throw, and I think that one, and he'll be the first guy probably to tell you, and if he doesn't, he should. But the rush up front, got to him a little bit, and he was a little less accurate with it, which enabled him to get in front of it.
Edgar and then Zach.
You mentioned the QB reads, and there was a nice rollout, I think, on a series that included one of those. Is Austin provide a couple elements maybe that this offense kind of can build on and need?
Yeah, no, I don't think any doubt. He's he handled some of the RPO stuff really well. We got a couple hits off of that. It probably shouldn't have pulled. He got, I don't know, they thought he was like Charles Johnson or some guy at Oklahoma or something, running option or whatever. But, read the key and give it when the guy's out there. So he got a little excited on that. But, no, I'm happy for him. He prepared well. He's prepared the whole time he's been here, and you know what? He did a good job with the win.
Were you encouraged by Antonio Callaway today? It seemed like he kind of looked more like last year.
No, he did. I tell you what, he had that look in his eye too, especially in the punt return game. I mean, it's a shame that one was taken away. We made him kick it over, thinking, if the guy would kick us one, we were real close all day on that. So it was good to see that. It was good to see that energy. Obviously, we'll talk about the drop third down in the red area, but, consistency and performance is something he's got to continually work on.
Zach and Ryan.
Jimmy, you asked about the outside noise and just maybe what the perception of fans or whoever would have been. But inside your team, inside your locker room, could have been maybe so easy for guys to lose confidence or start feeling bad because of all the injuries that were happening. How much did they need this win, and maybe you as a staff need this win to kind of get that out of your system?
Well, I think the one thing you realize is, it is outside noise. We're inside most all the day. Very rarely see it outside. It's dark. There's film on most of the time. But when we're in that locker room, there isn't, you don't feel that at all. These guys, look, they're starting to really understand what it is to give of yourself for the benefit of others. We still got some selfish guys. It's going to happen. But they'll find out there might be better places for them to go. But we're going to have guys that care about each other. And that's what I love. And that's what I see. And when you do that, you don't get the dissension piece. You don't get the panic. You don't get the guys. It's not how it works. And in building a program, that's one of the base principles, foundations, and fundamentals of being successful. I love it.
And then, as you know, recruits aren't going to pick a school because of one game, but how big of a recruiting weekend is this for you guys to play the way you did and have that atmosphere?
Well, I think, it was great. I mean, and the fans, my hats, I mean, it was loud in there, and they got into it. And that was great. And, we missed a couple recruiting weekends. That's all right. Guys that were here had a great time. Saw a really good game. Saw what it was like to play in the swamp. And, we'll get our share of guys. And the ones that want to be Gators, they'll be Gators.
Ryan in the back.
You mentioned the linebackers. What impressed you the most about their play and the way they adjusted today?
Just the game wasn't too big for them. Just the way they got the call, the way they spit the call out, the way they directed the call, the way they read their keys. Not one time did they lose their eyes. They knew exactly what they were supposed to do, and they executed it. The other part of that is Nick Washington, Marcel Harris in that secondary. Those guys, that was huge as well. So communication front to back, and there was a real sense of, hey, look, we got this. So I thought the guys up front played pretty good too.
Ryan, before your foul, there's a couple Florida players in the back. If you're interested, we'll go Ryan and then Robbie.
And does Jared have a chance to play next week, or will you stick with those guys again?
I think he's still out, looks like, but, we'll see. I mean, I sure hope so.
Robbie.
Could you just talk about this team having the opportunity to win the East next week?
Yeah, I mean, just go take care of business. And that's obviously one of your goals when you start. And yet, we'll put a plan together and get on the bus, and we'll show up. Thanks, guys.